Designer Note Subject 123. I must admit, I'm a Moser Streamliner fanboy. Take that as a disclaimer or a foreboding warning of the utter time waster this video is, but I'm banking that you'd stick around to see everything that's new with the Moser Streamliner Perpetual calendar. Plus, you can always click on the chapters below and skip to the good stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe for content you'd like to see next. Follow us at Instagram at DesignAtelierAruba for behind-the-scenes content. Email us at designatelierAruba@gmail.com. Let's have a quick refresher of the Moser Streamliner collection. It all started in early 2020 with the Flyback's release to a limited 100-piece run. This introduced Moser's new integrated bracelet sports watch with a case that's designed around the bracelet and unique bullhead chronograph movement. This surprising automatic chronograph fueled a modest hype all around the watch world. Next is the Streamliner Center Second, a more accessible version of the same case design with a trendy green color. This also hits all of the good notes to sing the praises of the enthusiasts. The Flyback came back to production, but this time in the Moser blue dial and in a sunburst finish. This retires the horizontal finish of the first Flyback model, making it even more collectible. This week, the Streamliner Perpetual calendar was introduced in the Geneva Watch Days event, and it's already proving to be a fiery hot timepiece in many people's eyes. The diameter is 42.3 millimeters, which is about the same diameter as the Flyback. This puts it as a larger alternative to the 40mm Center Seconds. Now you may think that this positions itself as the middle ground in sizing, but with the thickness of just 11mm for the Perpetual calendar Streamliner, this is the thinnest of the three sizes, compared to the 12.11mm thickness of the Flyback and 11.8mm of the Center Second. This is mainly due to the loss of the automatic rotor that's present on the previous two models. This one also has the longest power reserve at 7 days compared to the 3 days of the Center Second and 2.25 days for the Flyback. All of them are 120 meters water resistant, so you'll still likely need your Seikos if you want to dive deeper. Now, right away, you will notice that the date window is slightly oversized and placed on the 4 o'clock position. This also has curved sides that's a great choice in harmony with the Streamliner's case and curves. The numerals on the date wheel is loomed to match the hands to give it some personality. If you're wondering how Moser was able to achieve this large date numeral, it's because they use two date wheels on top of each other. The first wheel on top accounts for the first 15 days, while the second wheel on the bottom shows the rest. On the 16th day onward, the upper wheel stops and aligns a large cutout over the second wheel. The second wheel will then continue to move the date until it's time to change back to the first of the month. This date window is then balanced out by the power reserve indicator at the 10 o'clock position. I love the execution of this power reserve. This is one of the best applications of a power reserve in recent memory. I have often remarked how symmetry is one of my design preferences, which gives me a sort of aversion towards 4 o'clock position dates. However, I often mislabel my own expression of symmetry when I truly mean balance. Visual balance on a watch is often anchored at the center because most lines intersect here. So, whenever you place a design element from one side, your brain will start to poke at you saying, "Put something here." This is why what Moser did here is fine and balanced compared to some watches. Seiko. Even the power reserve hand is aligned in the same direction as the date window. At certain angles, it will disguise itself as one of the indexes, while oftentimes will provide a visual disruption as a clear design element. Around the dial is the checkered seconds track that has become a significant part of the identity of the Moser Streamliner collection. There are gaps on this track for the date and power reserve complications. This visually shows the disruption these complications made on the dial. This track also has some playful sprinkles of red accents similar to the Streamliner Chrono. This same tint of red is also added on the power reserve indicator, which is a cleverly simple indication that this is a gradated meter without labeling it power reserve. This is a good example of using omission to get the idea across. Moser's endeavor, no pun intended, to maintain their clean dials is strongly implied with the bold omission of their own logo. It's not an absolute omission though, since you can still work out the faint indents of the said branding. The hands are practically the same three-dimensional hands from the Center Second version. There is an addition of a smaller month hand mounted at the center of the watch. This has been used by Moser on their other perpetual calendars, but streamlined to match the other hands of the dial and tinted in red as well. It's more discreet and easily tucks itself behind the rest of the hands. Finally, rounding out the dial is the charcoal gray fume color theme. This sunburst finish gives the dial a muted personality yet refined look as it plays with the light brilliantly. Moser intends to keep this as the only dial color for the Moser Streamliner Perpetual calendar for now. According to its CEO, this keeps the collection focused and non-derivative of other brand models with its multitudes of variations. Moser further doubles down on the 4 o'clock placement by moving the crown also at this position, which is the original crown placement from the Streamliner anyway. This is a hint of how much work Moser did on this perpetual calendar. Similar to the Perpetual one's caliber HMC 341, this new watch's revolutionary caliber, the HMC 812, breaks the perpetual calendar complication into a minimal display that's properly adjusted for the sports watch. Behind the case, you can see the work itself. The anthracite gray PVD coating greets you with its contemporary spirit. You can make out the twin barrel setup of the movement that provides the 7-day power reserve. The movement beats at only 18,000 vibrations, but like other Moser movements, the hairspring is made in-house and the escapement is modular and interchangeable. What's truly amazing about this movement is the lengths that Moser went through to make the movement as solid and as user-friendly as possible. Most perpetual calendars are very prohibitive to set. Some require individual settings for its different subdials, and most don't even let you adjust back to an earlier date, risking a very expensive service for the movement. Moser, however, managed to make this one the most user-friendly perpetual calendar out there. Not only does it switch its date right after midnight, but it also can switch back with the turn of the crown. The month hand is also set using the date setting step of the crown, making it very simple to set, although it takes quite a few crown turnings. More time to play around with your watch, right? This was nicely demonstrated on the watch advisor. There's still a discrete pusher outside the case to adjust the leap year gear. This gear is prominently displayed at the back of the case, keeping the rest of the dial clean. The rest of the case and band retains the fit and finish of previous Streamliners, even though obviously this is a new case configuration to accommodate the new movement. Priced at approximately $55,000, this is a very upscale timepiece from the hottest brands in watchmaking at the moment. It's so hot that you have to get into a waiting list to get one. Unfortunately, that said list right now is 2 years long, and every allocation for this perpetual calendar is already spoken for. The Geneva Watch Days event kicks off with a fantastic debut of one of the most eagerly awaited perpetual calendars this side of independent brands. Moser strives to keep the spirit of its watches while continuing to grow its collection and fan base. Waiting lists aside, these all seem great news to watch collectors, and there's a promising prospect of seeing more iterations of the Streamliner in the near future. Now excuse me, I've got a clip to rewatch.